And the way I framed the article over at CBS was that there is a sure thing in my top 12, and there is a wild card in my top 12. The sure thing is that Ashton Jeanty is going to be the 101, regardless of what happens this weekend. He's not even testing, regardless almost certainly of what happens in the NFL draft. And I know people can say, how can you say that? Draft capital matters so much. And I'll just say, like, this is flashbacks of the Jonathan Taylor situation for me. We all thought Jonathan Taylor had the potential to be a generational running back. Nobody thought Clyde Edwards was a top 3 back in the class. And then the Chiefs took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in round 1, and he went ahead of Jonathan Taylor in rookie drafts. And dynasty teams are still suffering from that. So no, even if some team does something crazy, I expect Jeanty's going to be a top 20 pick in the rookie draft. He's coming off one of the greatest seasons in college football history. He's 21 years old. Draft him at 101, yes, even ahead of the quarterbacks. That says a little bit about the quarterbacks. The wild card, and it's a guy I'll talk about that didn't make the top 6, not yet, is Travis Hunter. If you told me that he was going to play wide receiver full-time and just a little bit of corner, then he might be my number 2 wide receiver. He'd definitely be in my top 5. He said at the combine that he really wants to play both. I don't know, Jacob. I don't think most NFL teams are like fun that much. They like to ruin fun, and they're going to say, no, it's too difficult. No, you have to be in this meeting and this meeting. I'm just really afraid he's not going to get to play enough wide receiver to be as good as he should be in fantasy football.
Yeah, I mean, getting a true like lockdown top 5 impact cornerback is so hard to do and so valuable. Whereas like you can hit on a receiver late, Nico Collins or whatever, like you don't necessarily have to get that guy early. And so I do think it's possible that a team is like, if he plays receiver, he's just going to play a bit,
Right.
It would be pretty unprecedented for him to do both at a bunch. And I do think cornerback makes sense to be the priority. But man, you watch the film on this guy as a receiver, and it's like
He could be the best.
Yes, he looks different. He looks like that type of a mover, like different, like Neighbors, Jefferson kind of Jamar Chase kind of guys. He just moves right past people. He's really, really intriguing. It's going to be so fun to see what happens with his career.
Well, and I think the other thing is, like, Azer made the point yesterday and then quickly argued with himself. He was talking about how much more valuable corner is than wide receiver. And we said, well, then why are there like 10 wide receivers paid more than the highest paid corner in the NFL right now? Like, the NFL certainly acts like they value high-end wide receivers more than high-end corners.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think part of it is I don't know if there's that many cornerbacks that are that level right now. I feel like the position is sort of fallen off. And maybe
I think partially, and also, how many cornerback jerseys do you see out on the streets?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's just my bias from growing up with all these really cool cornerbacks, but I feel like that has taken a step back. I don't know.
So my 102 is Cam Ward. I'm assuming he's going to be the first pick in the NFL draft. He'll probably go to the Giants. Hopefully he and Malik Neighbors fit like perfectly and everything is awesome. I say he'll probably go to the Giants. This is assuming the Giants are going to trade up for the 101. Maybe they won't. But regardless, Cam Ward is my 102. 103 is Tet McMillan, the best wide receiver in this draft out of Arizona. 104, Treveyon Henderson out of Ohio State. Really, amongst the running backs, I think there's almost 2 tiers in the first 3 running backs. I like Jeanty, obviously, a lot more than anybody else, and I like Henderson as a clear 102 in this class. This one could be subject to the NFL sending us a different signal if for some reason he falls behind 3 or 4 other running backs. Maybe I'm wrong, but man, what his potential in the passing game in the open field could be a league winner as a rookie. At 105, I've got Shedeur Sanders. Let's see where he goes. I know there's been some talk about him falling, but as a rule, we generally get the top 2 quarterbacks in the first 5 picks. And so I think Sanders is going to get a chance for a couple of years to be a starter. And in Superflex, you pretty much have to take that. And at 106, this is where it could be just about anybody, but I think Luther Burden, from what I've seen, Don't get so caught up in the way that Missouri used him last year, because they had some real deficiencies at the quarterback position in terms of they had to kind of gadget some things up for Burden. I think his potential upside is just about as high as anybody's in this class. I've heard some people make the argument for him as the number one wide receiver in my class. So my top 6 are Jeanty, Ward, McMillan, Henderson, Sanders, and Burden. I told you I wasn't going to make you talk too much rookies here, Gibbs, but if you have any thoughts, I'll take them.
I love the Burden take. I'm excited. He's one of the guys I haven't got through my wide receiver film yet. And so I'm kind of saving that for last because it's my favorite. And I'm really excited to get to him. And I'm intrigued by you saying that he can do more than just slot stuff. That is what I was hoping for. His data looks really good. So that's exciting. McMillan seems really, really exciting. Love to see him as the clear one for you. And I'm curious what the rest of the top 12 looks like. So I'll have to go check that out.
I think the interesting thing is last year we couldn't hardly get a running back into our top 12. This year, if things fall right, half of the first round of rookie drafts might be running backs. And some of that, I think, is the psychology of people dealing with what happened last year. And some of that is the fact that this is a really fantastic running back class.